Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Hey guys, before we get into the show, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button as well. Also, every Wednesday, I have a Hump Day giveaway over on my Twitter page, @Brodes81. Top of the profile, the tweet is pinned. This week, a Devontae Smith jersey. So make sure you enter to win. It's a no-brainer. All right, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. The Phillies win 3 straight games. That's right, this is their 7th one-run game, which is just asinine, and you know they're going to make you grind it out emotionally. You know it's never going to be easy. Even when they hit a grand slam in the first inning, Didi Gregorius steps up to the plate with bases loaded. My man is on fire when it comes to having players on base. He just knows how to accomplish the goal. Didi Gregorius was phenomenal, not just offensively, defensively too in the 9th inning. Very calm, very different. He's had issues defensively. He was even asked about that. And look, getting back to what he used to do, he was an issue defensively. He's now climbing out of that brutal spot as well, which is monstrous. 9th inning, Didi defensively. Here's what this team does, though. They get early leads, and then their bullpen has to come in, and the other squad chips away nonstop throughout the innings while the Phillies offense goes quiet. The Phillies offense did not produce a lot, all right? They took advantage of Peralta's mistakes early, and then right after that, they strike out 6 times in a row. The Phillies struck out 13 times total. So the bats went completely silent. Your starting pitcher had a heavy lead, and he only goes 4 1/3. You had to rock with Jojo Romero, Kintzler, Matt Moore with high leverage situations. Same with Los Santos. I mean, this kid just gets caught up, and it's nice to see 97 out of him. He was throwing hard. He was throwing heat. I saw 97. My balls were tickling, so I was juiced up considering, look, he was throwing 92 previously when he used to be with the Phillies, and now you're seeing such a big jump in his velocity. Maybe there's something to that. It did get ugly when he was on the mound. There was a hit batter involved, and you had to work around some things. There was a wild pitch, although I do believe, and I only saw it once, so bear with me here. I didn't see it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but my first initial reaction told me that JT Realmuto probably could have made that stop and allow the ball to stay in front of him and it not be going towards the backstop, which allowed a runner to get to third base, which made it an even more interesting situation on the mound for Los Santos. But, it's just crazy, right? Alvarado comes in because he's back from suspension. No Hector Neris available because he just threw a complete game the other night. And here's Alvarado shutting the door, 99 mile per hour, swing and a miss to end the game right below the knees. And it was a way to get a win. Like, it wasn't pretty. There's no doubt about it. This team doesn't win in a pretty way, but they won 3 straight games. And there's something to be said about being mentally tough during these adversity moments, if you will, during these games that are one run. You learn something from that. I don't want it to be this way, all right? It has to stop, please. Tell me it's not going to be a one-run game every single 162, especially when you have the lead. This cannot be a common team. You're going to wear out your bullpen pretty early on. Right now, you're still grinding through and maneuvering through your bullpen, and it's only May. Imagine what happens in July if you're constantly blowing these obnoxious leads. You got to have a pitcher blow a team away. You got to have this offense score 9 runs, and then it's a 9-3 game where you don't need to move through your bullpen and use 6 guys. So then the following game, somebody's not available, and then someone else is not available, and then you got to use all of these crazy scenarios. What you just witnessed tonight was absurd. Seriously, Los Santos and Matt Moore. Matt Moore hasn't thrown a ball in how long? And he gets a crucial double play, allows the ball to go through, too. I mean, you saw Jojo Romero make a play where, the ball was to him. I'm not knocking Jojo Romero, but with Jojo Romero and Kintzler, you saw double play balls that the pitcher got involved, and Kintzler was able to still execute the double play. Jojo Romero, not so much. It was a smoked ball. I'm not knocking him for it, but I'm just showing the veteran presence of Matt Moore to allow the ball to go through, and then you can work with the double play with your infielders, and he got a huge K as well. Joe was asked afterwards, and Joe has been under the hot seat already, right? There's been a lot of shining lights on Joe Girardi's decisions. After the game, I was somewhat smiling because I heard him get asked about Matt Moore, and he honestly responded with, I didn't know what to expect out of Matt Moore. And for the people that despise Joe Girardi right now, I guess that can somewhat defend you a little bit because, sure, I think we're all questioning what the hell would Matt Moore be in a high-leverage spot after not pitching for so long and becoming a starter, losing his starter job, being a lefty out of the pen apparently, and also losing your job to Vince Velasquez, as it seems right now. What the hell is Matt Moore going to accomplish for you? Nobody really knows, but you would think the manager's answer would be, especially when you're throwing him into the fire, something more than I have no idea. Now, quite frankly, he's not lying. He's not wrong. Nobody knew. But I'm just saying, for the Joe Girardi despisers, because there already are people ready to run him out of town and scream that he's such an embarrassment and he knows nothing. I mean, I will admit, as much as, look, my point isn't that Joe Girardi is perfect. My point isn't that Joe Girardi hasn't made many mistakes. I did expect him to be a little bit savvier and a little bit more professional. But what was a big knock on him with New York? He couldn't really relate with the younger guys, and that was a big discussion about who Joe Girardi is. One, that is in play, I feel, that he comes to a new situation, and you got Rhys Hoskins, you got younger players on this roster, Nick Maton, Alec Boehm, Spencer Howard's a part of this organization, right? Sure, there's veterans, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen. You're going to have a mix throughout. I think Joe is trying to somewhat build this new narrative around what type of manager he is. And also keep in mind, it's 2021, and there's a new style of athletes out there where mentally they're not the same. You can't treat players the same way you did back in 1999, back in 1982, back in 2006. It's a totally different style of athlete that come up in the minors. You need to treat them differently. I think a lot of what you're hearing out of Joe is that as well. I did hear something interesting about him, though, and it was the fact that he sounds smug. And I think that there's a correlation between, and not so much smug, but this guy managed the New York Yankees. This guy's been a part of the New York Yankee media. As much as we claim we're a 4-for-4 town, and we are, Phillies baseball does not relate to Yankees media whatsoever. So when he's getting asked a ton of questions afterwards from Jim Salisbury or Rob Motti or Matt Breen or anybody else involved in who covers the Phillies, Scott Lauber, you know, he thinks of it, look, I mean, this is games 15 of 162. I've been around the block. I've been a part of this game. So his answers feel different than a Gabe Kapler who gave you your player speak, your coaches speak. He supported every player in every situation, and he gave you that 2021 era of baseball for sure. 2020, actually, and 2019 is when he was here. It felt like 35 years of Gabe Kapler. It was only a handful. But he didn't have that smugness because it's different. He's the first-time manager. I think Joe, being Joe, is more of a product of, look, I coached in the Bronx. I managed in the Bronx. And when you think about this as well, and I hate to get too sidetracked into just Joe Girardi because there is some things to discuss furthermore with this baseball game tonight, he was so used to such fantastic bullpen pieces late in the games in the Bronx. And I'm not just talking about Rivera. I'm talking about the whole entire ride of Joe Girardi's career. You had players that you could truly rely on the back end of the rotation. David Robertson, at the time when he was in the Bronx, was amazing. Chapman was amazing. The list goes on and on for what he was able to call on late in games. And I think he was so spoiled by that and that's why I go to, if you don't have the talent, there's only so much you can do. Matt Moore getting thrown in and you know, when you don't have Archie Bradley and Hector Neris isn't available and things of this nature, you're somewhat getting thrown into this by default of this wonkiness. Now, here's the counterpoint. You don't have to use Hector Neris the way that you use him. Back-to-back 5-out saves is wild. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And the way that you use your bullpen previously is the domino effect on why you need to result in a Sam Coonrod for 5 or a Hector Neris in 5. And there is a truth to that. I'm not claiming that Joe Girardi has been perfect. I expected more of a calm-down professional manager. Maybe the AL to the NL has really changed his philosophy, which it should, but, it's been a little different. It hasn't been everything I anticipated. I just don't think it's time to go outrageous about it either. It's been how many games at this point? What are they at? They're like 30 games in or so. Maybe that's a little. They're 16 and 15, so they're 31 games into the season. Well, they played 60 games last year, so they're 91 games into the regular season. That's not even one full season of baseball. That's not even one full season. So Joe Girardi is 91 games into his baseball career here in Philadelphia. Can we cool the Jets a little bit? Because for me, the issue is more so the product on the field with the players than it is the actual manager. But anyway, let's get into how this all kind of played out with this one-run game. Andrew McCutchen, leadoff double in the bottom of the first. 0-2 count. Unbelievable. 0-2 count. Andrew McCutchen is back. Brad Miller walks. Rhys Hoskins, 0-2 pitch. Oh, Peralta, you can't fucking figure it out, huh? You can't fucking figure it out early. 0-2 pitch twice in the first inning. That leads to a 1-0 lead as Rhys Hoskins drives it into the outfield. Beautiful swing. JT Real Muto then walks, and that's when Didi, on an 0-1 pitch, hits his grand slam. You're up 5-0, and you think it will be an easy game to somewhat cruise as long as Chase Sanderson can provide you something. Your fifth starter has a 5-0 lead. You can't ask for a better start. You can't ask for a better way to start out a game with your fifth starter on the field. That's the product you need early to throw the punch, right? To kick them in the face, to bust their teeth in early. Screw you, Brewers. And coming into the series, the Brewers have a nice record. Now, look, you lose Christian Yelich. You got a lot of guys on the IL. They strike out a lot. They produce, but they strike out a lot. It's a team that is in a weird spot right now in the schedule with the IL and all. But you expect the Brewers to have a little bit more fight in them. The Phillies come out kicking them in the teeth. You should be able to put them down with the way that over the last handful of games, they haven't been the smoothest version of themselves. Top three Brewers back-to-back. Walks, bases are loaded with 2 outs. Now here's a throw by Odubel Herrera in the outfield. Whew. Good for JT Realmuto. And the fact that Vogelback is the one running, and weird slide as well where he beat the tag, but his foot was off the plate. His foot was in the air as he was sliding. Big boy, right? Not some fast, spooty Roman Quinn. That's for damn sure. So you think that there'd be possibly an element of messing this up for sure, and he did. To throw by Odubel Herrera, though, that thing was sailing big time. Way too high. JT Realmuto jumps up in the air and applies the tag. Talk about the best catcher in baseball. Those are the type of moves that, sure, we recognize it and all, but I don't know if it gets the love, the insane love that it deserves. The throw was horrendous. The throw should have been way better. The throw was way too damn high. You got to put it on a plane that would get to JT Realmuto faster. The fact that you even had a shot was somewhat mind-blowing, and I think it was because of who was running the bases in Vogelback. The way that he slid, and you could tell even afterwards, maybe there was discomfort in the knee or something was tweaked or whatnot, but the way that JT applied the tag, bang, as the foot was in the air during the slide, huge out. The score is now 5-1 instead of the damage being bigger, and you win a 1-run game. Think about how crucial of a play that is. If the score is now different, and keep in mind, what if the inning doesn't end? If the inning doesn't end and the Brewers continue to pound on runs, let's say they score 4 runs that inning, or let's say they tie the game up, getting that out was monstrous. So that is a game-changing play when you dial back to that 3rd inning. It's just crazy that it actually happened. You got a bit lucky, but sometimes you need some luck on your side. Anderson gets yanked. Here's what's his stat line. 4 1/3, right? This is before Jojo Romero came in. 4 1/3, 4 walks, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 92 pitches. And even Ruben Amaro Jr. after the game, and I'm becoming more of a Ruben Amaro fan. My only problem is he gives me a little bit of the Ben Davis lifestyle, which is super positive, way too positive, and it makes sense. We heard it a billion times. Bat boy for the Phillies, player for the Phillies, GM for the Phillies. He's been around baseball his entire damn life. He's not just going to roast all of these players on the team. But I was a little surprised knowing that's his MO, being a player-friendly guy, being pro-player, for the game to be over, and it goes right to the NBC Sports Philadelphia studios, and he goes, you need more out of Chase Anderson. You had a 5-0 lead. For him to only go 5 1/3, you need more. I was like, well, all right, Rube. Hi, Rube. Can I call you Rube? I'm going to, baby. Hi, Rube. And even after the game, Joe Girardi was asked about it. And Joe said, I thought I'd be able to get 6 out of him. And I only got 4 1/3, so I need more out of Chase. He did have one nasty changeup strikeout that I liked. Nasty changeup strikeout. Did I say that right? I don't know. For some reason, you ever say something and then you think, did I say the right thing? So you say it again, and you might have or you might have not. At this point, I don't even remember what I said. But he had one nasty, nasty K on a strikeout, and it got me going. It was like, let's show a little appreciation to Chase Anderson with that changeup. Unfortunately, there were only 2 Ks all day. Jojo Romero came in. Some trouble was involved. They score 3 runs in that inning, and what do you know? Taylor with the pinch hit home run was a part of that inning. So the pinch hit. Why do I feel like, and this is nothing but gut feel, why do I feel like the pinch hit home runs have been a factor? And I know when Darren Ruff and the Giants and Gabe Kapler came to town, that was a series where it felt more damaging, and maybe it was just the Gabe Kapler effect, but I don't know. It just seems a little wonky with the pinch hits and the home runs and how the manager seems to push all the right buttons on the other side whenever there's a pitcher on the bump for the Phils. It's always damaging. 6th inning, Kintzler, a 1-4-3 double play, comes back to him. Beautiful play. It was very smoked. The ball came back to him. He puts in his glove, turns to, bang! Bang! 6th inning, gets out of it, a 1-4-3. The 7th, Matt Moore, the double play in the K, as I mentioned, and the 8th with Los Santos, the 9th. Some more things here. Scott Kingery stepped up to the dish, and when I tell you this man looked the worst, maybe not the worst, he's been looking this way the whole time. It was egregious, though. Took a pitch for strike 1, strike 2. It was this weird half swing, half cut, stopped midway, but it wasn't a check swing. It was like an ugly ass, I don't know what I'm doing. I think this is a swing. I don't know if it's a swing. I'm trying to swing. Maybe I shouldn't swing. What am I doing here? What's my job? What's my occupation? Should I be in AAA? I feel like that's what was going through his brain. And then for the 3rd straight pitch, high up in the zone, not even close to making contact. 3 straight pitches, 3 ugly attempts there. The first one he looked at. The second one, I don't know what that was. The third one, I don't know what that was. Just overmatched, overpowered, and has no business being at the dish. Unfortunately, forced to be there. And you also had Mickey Moniak get caught up because of some of the IL stuff that had to happen, so he was available. But yeah, Scott Kingery was just a disaster for his one plate appearance, and it's really ugly to watch. I've seen guys lost. I've seen Rhys Hoskins lost, and I was skeptical of him turning it around. So maybe Scott Kingery can turn it around because Rhys Hoskins sure has proven me wrong, and Rhys Hoskins has been a very, very, very solid player to this point this season, and I was very skeptical of what we'd get out of Rhys Hoskins. Scott Kingery, though, man, he is in a very low spot when he's in that batter's box. I don't think you could look more confused than you did if you were Scott Kingery in the box today. Odubel Herrera got a hit. So Odubel Herrera squeaked one through. Not that we've seen anything overwhelming from the Odubel Herrera department, but now that Roman Quinn is out. I did hear, though, because I went to Wawa around 6:50 or so to grab myself a nice coffee for the baseball game tonight. I wanted to relax, drink my coffee, watch the Phils. That's exactly what I did. I was highly entertained, although I was nervous and my stomach felt a little woozy. You know what coffee can do? I mean, it can run right through you. I think it was a combination of watching the bullpen, watching Chase Anderson, watching the offense go insanely quiet, and a mixture of the coffee and maybe an ice cream sandwich too. What? I didn't say that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who's the judge? I heard on the radio while I was going to Wawa, though, Joe Girardi being asked about Odubel, and he said when you go and you see that there's some lefties up when you think about this Washington series, maybe they'll do something different. So maybe they're already going back to this platoon nonsense of Odubel Herrera against certain pitchers, Mickey Moniak against other pitchers. I hate the platoon. Center field is not a platoon position. I'm not sold on Odubel Herrera, but I would still just keep, instead of going back and forth. You're not figuring anything out. Nobody's getting the run to maybe find themselves. And it seems like Odubel, maybe that bunt because of the shift the other day, he's had a couple hits since then. Maybe that's enough to kind of somewhat set a spark for him. For Alec Boehm, you're still kind of seeing moments of frustration. We could talk all we want about how he's driving the ball the other way or how he's making solid contact, and it seems every single time he's getting unfortunate. There are certain at-bats where you can see his body language where he is very upset, very bothered, and very annoyed. I want him to be because that shows how much he cares. That shows where his mind's at, and he wants to be better. He knows he can be better. I'm just pointing it out that there is some recognizable times out there for Alec Boehm. And speaking of recognizable, everybody recognizes DraftKings Sportsbook. The hits literally keep on coming. From one boxing event to the next, they grow in excitement and anticipation. And this weekend is no different with two of the sport's most respected fighters stepping into the ring Saturday night. There's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. For this weekend's fight, DraftKings is offering new users a shot to turn $1 into $55. To celebrate this weekend's huge event, DraftKings Sportsbook is offering new users the opportunity to get 55-1 odds on either main event fighter to win this weekend's fight. That's bet $1. If the fighter of your choice wins, you cash $55. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can bet $1 to win $55 on this weekend's main event. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook is going all out for new users by offering them a chance to win $55 when placing a bet of $1 on this weekend's big fight, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casinos. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, you know the deal. Let's hear from you. Here we go.
Thank God the bullpen is actually all right this season compared to last season, because last year Phillies would not win this game. I don't understand how many times they can just be so explosive for an inning and then do absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. It was like, 2-3 base runners I think they had total after the first inning. That's not going to win you games. One big inning isn't going to win you games against teams who can consistently produce every inning. That's not how it works. And then they get complacent, or they just, I don't know what, they fall apart. They don't do anything. Something's got to get fixed, because you put last year's bullpen in and Phillies lose this game, along with probably a lot of other ones this season.
Well, yeah, no doubt. But you also are talking about the second most historic bullpen in MLB history, so of course you would. A few things. I agree that if it's consistently happening this way, and it is consistently happening, it's a problem. At a 162, you think you get 5 runs on the board, you should be able to win that baseball game. You should be able to hold on and secure that win. A 5-run lead, no matter when you get it, a good baseball team delivers and finds a way to grind that bad boy out. So the problem is it's constantly happening where you are getting that lead and then it becomes a 1-run game. At some point, you need to stop the bleeding and just shut the door down. Don't even allow them to get some sort of momentum. We keep allowing the team to hold on or get a 1 run here, get 3 runs here, get 2 runs here, and they keep creeping back in. You gotta snap their throats. You gotta crush their necks. You gotta punch them out, right? Knock them out. Don't even give them just the tiniest little second of optimism that they can climb back into the game, because once you do that, teams can be successful and they can smell blood. Once they smell the blood, game over. So it does need a change. I'm not saying that I'm okay with it. It will happen throughout sections of games, but the problem is I see it too often. In terms of the bullpen, you just have an average bullpen this year. So it's a huge jump from where you were last year. You're going to see games where they are going to shut the door like they did today, even though it got closer than we needed it to. There's going to be games where they hold on. You might grind it. You might get a little upset. You might get nervous. You might be on the edge of your seat because it's a 2-strike at bat. Maybe it's a full count with the man on second and third with 2 outs in a 1-run game, and you got to hope and pray that he doesn't foul it back for the 5th straight pitch, and you're questioning if Jose Alvarado has enough command to deliver on the outside part of the plate, or Hector Neris is going to utilize that splitter where he doesn't hang it over the middle of the plate where it can go for a ride, or he can actually find the strike zone with the fastball, and he's got fastball command. So that's going to happen for sure. You're also going to have blown games, though. It's an average bullpen. That's what it is. You have an average bullpen. It's not overwhelming, so I can't demand every time them to just knock it out of the park. No pun intended here. From the other side, though, to shut everyone down. There's going to be moments where you're just very disgusted in the bullpen because you have an average one. An average one is not going to be an explosive one. Tonight, maybe you were biting the fingernails. Maybe you weren't. I know I was. That's probably going to happen more times than not.
Wow, the Phillies actually managed to string together some wins, and that's kind of the challenge that I gave them the last call. I said, I don't care about this team until they're able to string together multiple wins, and that's what they did. Now, the bats going quiet for almost the entire after first inning is concerning, but I do think that will at least be somewhat fixed once Figueroa and Bryce get back into the lineup. It's not an extreme concern, it's a concern. But, being able to win with Chase Anderson on the mound is always good. The bullpen looks good. I just really hope that they can go out and make a statement tomorrow and sweep this team.
Yeah, if they were able to sweep the Brewers in a 4-game set and losing Bryce Harper and whatnot, that would be insane. And it goes back to when you lost Bryce Harper, sometimes you need something to occur to rally the troops. I think we are witnessing this team somewhat forming together, coming together, and stringing together wins, as you mentioned, when you lose your top guys. I expect this offense to be better. What sucks is with Jean Segura, and I was going to say I think they're going to be better when you get those 2 guys back. Of course, it doesn't hurt when players like that enter the game. Jean Segura was on fire so much. Is he going to come back and just continue? Is he going to stay where he was? Is he going to bounce right back and without skipping a beat, you have the Jean Segura that was hitting above 300 and giving you multiple hits and driving the baseball and hustling and giving you maximum effort and going for 2, going for doubles, running hard through first base, leaving everything out there on the field. Are you going to get that out of Jean Segura? Or is it going to take time for him to ramp back up? And what does that mean for Nick Maton? What does that mean for Odubel Herrera? What does that mean for Mickey Moniak right now? Not that, quite frankly, I don't care about those players. I'm just saying, how does that, change the dynamic of what you got with Nick Maton? Because I think it really does. Same with Bryce Harper, though. I don't really know what to expect. Apparently, he has not been taking swings yet. The last I saw. Let me real quick go to, because there was a piece on, like an update on him, because they did get an update on Bryce Harper. So the last I saw was, let's see, Roman Quinn injured. No Bryce Harper again. Hopefully we have him soon. That was on May 4th. No, I don't think that was the one. I thought Bryce Harper gets closer to return. Okay, I was going to say, I thought I saw something with, don't play the video. Don't play the video, please. I don't feel like it being loud in my earphones. Come on, I'm sitting here hitting exit. There you go. It's unlikely Harper will require a trip to the injury list. We did talk about that already. Nope, I said no. All right, regardless, I guess I can't find it. But I think it was something along the lines of he was taking some fly balls, but he wasn't swinging the bat. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Don't quote me on that, though. Anyway, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Zach Wheeler on the mound going up against Woodruff. Woodruff is 2-0 right now with a 1.80 ERA. Zach Wheeler 2-2 with a 3.49. So the Brewers are 17-14 at this very moment. It's going to be a good pitching matchup. Maybe we get a phenomenal duel. I would not be mad with a phenomenal duel. It would be a huge statement, though, to, at home, take care of business in 4 straight games for a little bit of a momentum ride.
What's up, man? The Phillies win the 3rd straight game versus the Milwaukee Brewers. They win the series. And they can sweep tomorrow. I mean, they have Brandon Woodruff. We got Zach Wheeler. That'll be a good matchup at 1 o'clock afternoon game. Well, this is such a good game. tonight. The first inning, bro, I felt like it was a beautiful, man. But I felt like after the first inning, the Brewers, like, they went on like a big pitching streak of just strikeouts and everything. And the Phillies that could not hit the ball. I think Herrera had a single, but that was it after the first inning. I think they need to have more offense throughout the game instead of just one inning. But yeah, Chase Anderson, he wasn't right, and the bullpen came in and pretty much did their job. Let's go Phillies, baby. Win tomorrow. Sweep the Brewers 4-0.
I love it. I love it. I love when the Phillies get some momentum with the city. We were all questioning what the hell is going on. This team is so bizarre. They're going through all these crazy losses and crazy wins. You win 3, though, and it makes that next game. There's nothing better than a baseball team on a nice ride. Not necessarily 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins in a row that I'm talking about, although that is phenomenal as well. But if you string together, I know this might sound weird because now I'm going back to 3 games, but my point is in general is when a baseball team is on a nice streak of maybe winning 7 out of 10 or, 8 out of 10 and they're just playing good baseball, there's nothing better than that anticipation leading up to the next night. When they play every single night, oh, I can't wait for 1 o'clock now tomorrow to see if they can make it 4 straight. Oh, I can't wait to see if this team is going to continue to be hot. And maybe in a uncomfortable way, but they win another baseball game. They don't ask how. They ask how many, especially right now with the way the NL East is. Just get me to 1 o'clock tomorrow. That is where we're at. Yeah, I mean, with the bullpen, it's crazy. These guys in spots that they are not accustomed to, it's not easy to do that. You're not accustomed to being a late inning guy. You're not accustomed. De Los Santos, what are you? Who are you? What is your role? Oh, I just got caught up. Oh, yesterday was somewhat of an emotional ride. I thought I was coming into the game. My adrenaline was kicking. My adrenaline was pumping. And then the lineup card was bonkers, and I didn't even get into the game. Now he gets thrown into the next night, and bang, he's throwing 97 and getting out of a little bit of a jam. These players are not accustomed to being in those moments. It's not very easy, especially a bullpen piece. You got to have a different mentality, and you got to be clocked in differently, and you got to be prepared differently. You're a creature of habit when you're out of the pen, and when you're a starting pitcher in general, you go through your regimens, you go through your psychological thoughts and your physical stuff that gets you in that moment, and when you're not used to that moment, how do you react? Well, tonight specifically, they all reacted. You're right about the offense, though. If you think this offense is going to be good enough where you go quiet, well, Peralta settled in. He had the 6 straight strikeouts. He ended up, kind of putting together a decent outing after that Didi grand slam. But think of it the other way, though. How would we feel if, let's say, Zach Wheeler, hypothetically, was awesome after innings 2 through 6, he was awesome, but he allowed 5 runs in the first inning and allowed a grand slam. Afterwards, you wouldn't tip the cap. We'd say that's not good enough. So now when we're on the other side, we'd say that's not good enough. You hurt your team and you didn't do enough to win the game because of how brutal you started. So we have to flip it the other way around and said you did good enough and you put this team in a position to win by how well you started. I'm just keeping it 100, right? Tonight specifically, if Wheeler or Chase Anderson, let's say Chase Anderson got creamed in the first inning, allowed 5 runs, but was able to, innings 2 through 6 or 2 through 7, let's say, get 8 strikeouts and be efficient, you'd say, well, you lost the game in the first inning because you weren't ready. Well, I think tonight then we have to say you won the game because you were ready to pounce on Peralta very early in 0-2 counts, in 0-1 counts. That has to be said.
What's going on, Brodes? Again, never a pretty win to see him, but I'll take it. I'm so sick of Chase Anderson. He's not an LMV pitcher. I just think it's the problem is so much bigger at this team where it stems from not being able to draft guys that we just don't have people in our farm system. But at this point, why not just give it to Spencer Howard? He's going to be better than Chase Anderson. He's certainly better than that Vinny Velo, Matt Moore spot. But anyways, I'll take it. Jose Alvarado looked really good too. I think I said last night I want Coonrod as our closer. I think I'd rather have Coonrod or Alvarado as our closer than Neris. Although thinking about it now, Alvarado did just have a shit performance the night before this. So
It's pretty much going to be, and you're right, Alvarado is going to be all over the map. So you'll see a great game. Don't get too sucked in because the emotions do get the best of him, and he becomes all over the place. I think it's going to be a combination. If Hector Neris is unavailable, it might be Alvarado. If Alvarado's not available, it might be Sam Coonrod. If Sam Coonrod's not available, you know what I mean? Like, I do think it's just going to be a combination of all three, depending on who is available for that night. Hector Neris probably more with that solidified spot. If Neris is a go, it's probably going to be Neris until he does something, or if he does something to lose that job permanently, then maybe they go in another direction. But I do think it'll be like a combination of the three just based off of circumstances. With Spencer Howard, they have this weird pitch limit where they're afraid, and I think it has something to do with his arm. Maybe they're hiding something. Maybe they know something that we don't know about his arm. He's had problems in the past more than once. So who knows? Maybe they're trying to hide something with the arm. Could you imagine where if this season there's already arm problems again or whatever? I don't know. They're limiting him for a reason, and that is a concern to me, and it was a concern last year when I saw him pitch. That something was a little weird with that. That's the problem, unfortunately. They're afraid to use him. I'm with you. I'm taking him over Matt Moore. I'm taking him over Chase Anderson, and I'm not even a big Spencer Howard guy. That's just how I feel about these two players. I still think that Anderson is I don't know. I mean, you would think that he can at least give you something more than 4 1/3, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that optimism should go away. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Can't wait. I'll see you then.